All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAGED Wrestling. Man, we got a good one here, man. I'm really excited about it. So we got three-time state champ and one of the newest members of Purdue Wrestling, Joey Blaze. How you doing today, Joey?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. Just got did some stuff around the house, and now I'm just here, ready to do this interview.
Hell yeah, bro. I definitely appreciate you taking the time, especially with just getting on campus a couple weeks ago. And how's that going? Get settled in? How's things going down there?
Oh, it's going great. I think it's just exactly what I imagined. I'm just in there every day, putting in that work, trying to put myself be ready to be a national champion this year. So it's been fun. I'm excited for the future and everything.
Looking to go 65?
57.
57.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I like that, though. Honestly, I like you at 57. I think it's a weight class that, as a true freshman, you ain't looking to redshirt, go right after it at 157 freshman as a true freshman?
Yeah, that's the goal right now. We got to, meet and talk, with my coaches and everything still. But that's the goal for right now, wrestling 157.
Yeah. And, bro, honestly, I feel like, I mean, Purdue had such a amazing – I feel like the last couple years, they just been just Coach Tony, he's just been building that and building.
For sure. He's done a really good job. You really know, he's.
I feel like he's done done a really good job with it, man. It just. My bad, bro. My uncle keeps calling me here. I have to do some cutting and editing here. That's my
You're
fault,
good.
bro. Trying to ignore him, and he just keeps calling. But yeah. So I'm excited for you, though. I mean, what led you? So I mean, you're talking. You're the Mark Zimmer Award, best wrestler in the state of Ohio. You get you win Super 32s. You're a three-time state champ, probably a four if it doesn't get canceled in 2020, at least in my opinion. You pretty much are a blue chip recruit. You know what I mean? You were sitting number one at your weight pound for pound, and you were, I think, number 13 pound for pound and number one in your weight. So what led you to Purdue? What made them set out different from everybody else?
Something for me that was huge was just culture and how the team is. Here, everyone's actually best friends. We all hang out. We were talking the other day, me and my roommates, and no other team you can hang out with the whole team in one area, and they're not no one's got beef with each other. There's nothing wrong. Everyone just gets along so well. So that's a big part. And then also for me, when I first went to Perrysburg, we were a building program and we were trying to make a name for ourselves. And I feel like that's kind of the same with Purdue. We're on the rise, we're building, we've had some success, but we want to get furthering that success. So I feel like that's what I found with Perrysburg, and that's what I like about Purdue too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I can respect that because they definitely are. I mean, and you guys, even at Perrysburg, like you said, I mean, you finished second in the state as a team, only behind St. Ed's. So, I mean, St. Ed's is a dog every year. So, I mean, it's definitely something awesome that you were able to just grow that program and make it what it is, to where, I mean, there's a lot of people even me, I got a little guy to where Perrysburg wouldn't even have been on the radar for him to go to school. And now when I sit there and think man, where's a good place that he could go? I think that you guys have opened up a window to where it's definitely, it's not just the St. Ed's or Illyria's or, you know what I mean? It's really hey, Perrysburg's for real.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's awesome. You guys are able, and I think, like you said, it fits the shoe for you to do the same in Purdue. And I think that too, as weird as it sounds, with you being the number one kid in the country, to me, it seemed. Did you feel like you were kind of under the radar at all, during the recruiting process?
For sure. Because I mean, my little brother, Marcus, is obviously doing his thing, getting out there and making his name, but other than those tournaments, the big tournaments, we don't go to the everything else. For me, it's I'd hit Super 32, I'd hit my any summer I tried to do Fargo, but I never got to do Fargo because I was always hurt. I never got to do any world team trials, so it's I kind of just did Super 32 and season every year, and like how I did in those is how I did.
What you remind me of at lightweight to a point is, well, I mean, your accolades are a little more than Colin Moore, but you kind of remind me of like a Colin Moore coming out. Like I said, like you're sitting a little higher than he was, but at the same time, like I feel like there's a dog that this kid's going to come out All-American, if not have a chance to win this thing. And I think you're going to take the NCAAs by storm, and people's going to be like, damn.
Thank you.
First off, like, how do we let this kid get out of Ohio? Because honestly, as an Ohio guy myself, I'm from like Canton area, so I'm a little town called Carrollton, just a little bit south of it. But I sit there and I think like, man, how did we not keep this man at home? Which I know that's a huge thing for Coach Ryan, and I've heard him say it 1,000 times. He wants to keep the monsters that like you guys.
Yeah, homegrowns.
And I would have, I kind of, as an Ohio guy and an Ohio fan, like you sit back and you wonder how we didn't keep you home, but at the same time, like I think you're in an awesome environment, an awesome place, and that definitely be following and rooting for you, bro. And I think that I think you really are going to take this. Like I was just, people's going to sit back and be like, damn, we should have really went at that kid a lot harder.
Thank you. Can I grab my charger real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I had my computer charged, and then it goes, you got two. And I'm like, ooh.
All good.
All right, there we go. Now we're rocking.
My man. So how was settling in?
Oh, it was good, bro. It didn't take long at all to settle in. I think it took maybe a couple hours because I live 3.5 hours from here, so it was just a 3.5 hour drive. And then I don't got that much stuff. Like, just had to like build my bed and pretty much bring my dresser in here, and I was all good.
Heck yeah, man. So, and you guys been already like straight to practice as soon as you get to campus, or?
Yeah, we do. We practice 3 times a week, and then we lift 4 times a week. But then I try to get my like extras in all like as much as possible right now, especially since I don't got any school or anything. So I'm kind of always in there, or at least try to be in there every day, like learning something, picking something up.
For sure. And honestly, how's that arm? How's that elbow? Is it the late? Because I know you tore your UCL and you had that chip bone and everything, and it was sitting like 3 inches from where it was supposed to, 4 inches or something crazy like that.
It's good now. I got surgery on it the day after state this year. So then I was out 2.5 months, 3 months, and then just came back right in. And I think the break was really good for me. After like the after surgery break, kind of just like running and doing like body weight stuff, like not doing anything crazy. I think that really helped like my body just like heal. And like when I came back, I felt better than I ever did, honestly.
Good, man. Because I'll tell you, like after watching the state tournament, actually, like I think it was my uncle's first time, because I just started going up with him and my cousin to the state tournament this was my 3rd year going with him, and he was watching you, and he was like, and I had already knew a little bit about you, and he was like, man, like this dude's like, what was it, like pin tech fall to get you to the finals, I believe it was, and then all of a sudden like you win 9-3 in the finals, and you just made it, and you're doing this with an elbow that's destroyed. I mean, what you said, 70% at best, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, if you see this, I'd hate to see it full 100%, bro. Like, but at being that, how'd it feel, man, getting that 3rd state title?
Oh, it felt good. I think it was really, for me, it's like, I kind of do things, like I want to win, but at the same time, I also want to see like my team win and everything. So like in that like aspect, like that weekend was kind of like, it was a really good weekend. Like, don't get me wrong. I won, my brother won, Miles won, but it was just also at the same point, like some guys on our team that I know like deserved it really didn't like hit what they want, like get the goal they wanted to meet. And so that kind of sucked, but I mean, it was definitely a good moment. I mean, like that's an awesome way to finish off high school. Like definitely couldn't have finished off any better. So I'm just blessed to be able to do what I do.
Yeah, 100%, man, and you're damn good at it, especially your little. But you think now with your little brother is, I mean, he kind of with his recruiting process. Is it more or less like, hey, we're going where Big Bro goes, or is it more or less like Marcus is his own person? Let him go through the trials and tribulations of recruiting and see what's best for him.
Definitely. I'm just like letting him do his thing. I mean, I'm definitely like in his ear telling him like, come on, man, like, you know where you should be. But at the same part, it's like, he's not the same person as me. So maybe what clicks for me doesn't click with him. Like, I mean, it just is what it is, but it's his own decision. I hope he makes the right one and comes here. But if he doesn't come here, it's not going to end it's not going to make me mad at him or mad at anyone. Like, just how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's couldn't have put it a better way. And like, I think it would be like if I was in that situation, it'd be hard not to follow my big brother to a school that's building like that, and to get both of you on the same team, just like you guys were in high school. That's a scary thing. So I think for him to end up there would be, it would be awesome to see you guys to stay together. But I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, if he views it a little different, like respect, whatever. I think you guys are both going to succeed no matter what. Like you in Purdue, him wherever he ends up. I think, I think your dad Joe set you guys up for success to the fullest, man. And I didn't know you were Joey Blaze the fourth, bro. Like this is like an ongoing thing. Are you gonna, if you have a son, are you gonna be Joe Blaze the fifth coming? Or?
Oh, for sure. I don't want to be the one to end that. I'd rather have someone else do that. I don't want to get yelled at or anything, so I'm good on that. I'll just keep it going, and whenever it ends, it ends. But no, my dad did a great job with us. He was really different from everyone else. He never wrestled, like never touched a wrestling mat. What he did was when we found it as a kid, he just kind of like, he would always say, if you want to go. Like for Marcus, it was like he didn't always want to go to practice when he was little. But me, like I always wanted to be there. Like Marcus played soccer and a bunch of other sports, and he was really good. And for me, it was just like my dad just told me I could do whatever I want. So it was just like all I ever wanted to do was wrestle. So I think from that aspect, like that's how my dad really like, he does things a lot differently than some of these like parents where their kids are good. But I think his like way of doing it paid off the most in the end, because if you look at it, Marcus and I still enjoy the sport, still love the sport, and it's all because like everything we've ever done has just been like I'm doing it myself. I'm not like no one's like over my shoulder.
Yeah, and honestly, that's my biggest fear, because like my family knows how much like I mean I wrestled till I got out of school, so. From 5 years old, my mom put me in an open tournament here in Carrollton until I was done with high school. That's when I quit wrestling. But they worry that I'm going to push it because I love it so much. I mean, I love it so much. I'm doing a podcast on it just because I want to have something to do with the sport and try to just grow it into hopefully something if it helps the sport, if like and get people to know you guys. So like everybody's like, hey, you can't just because you love it, don't shove it on him. You know what I mean? But what I want to do is introduce it to him and then let him make his decision.
Yeah,
like
for sure. That's all you can ask for too. Like as a kid, like that's exactly what my dad did, and that's exactly what I would ask any parent to do, is just introduce it to them, let them figure it out if it's their thing or not, and then if it is, like hold them accountable, but you don't have to. There's a certain age, I think, to where like accountability, like where you start introducing accountability and like all that kind of stuff. Like when they're young, it's like when they're from 5 to 10, it's like going to practice. If they want to go, they can go. If they don't, they don't. But then like the older you get, like once you get into middle school, then you start locking it in. And then high school, you kind of start to get that, like it's every day, like you're in here, you're out. Like this is like starting to become your job if you love it.
100%. It becomes your craft. Absolutely. And then that's when did it click for you? Like what age was it like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is who I am. Like did it come at that 10-year-old mark? Would it come before that? Like when did it click for Joey?
It clicked honestly like freshman year or like
Yeah.
8th grade, I was really I mean, I always like loved to go to practice and loved practicing, but I'm like freshman or year, 8th grade is where I really started to like every time I stopped playing football, like every time I got a chance to go to practice, I was there, and I wasn't just there to like be there. I was like actually doing work, like actually putting really good effort in towards the sport, and I think that's where it like really started to click.
Now, do you think that COVID year, like the year because it was your freshman year that you weren't able to wrestle the state tournament, right?
Hmm.
Do you think that year, like that you, like whenever, all right, so you're saying right around that time it became serious to you. Is that like that off season, that downtime that you had, like, do you think that's where you made the most growth? Like hitting it with like, hey, there's no wrestling this year, so let's just grind. And because you jumped right back into it your sophomore year, like a year, maybe 2 years from really realizing like this is what I want to do. And you're dude, you're walking through the state tournament at what you wanted it 138, 144, 165. And what would you have went your freshman year?
I was 126 my freshman year. I took third at districts, but I was ranked. I think I was ranked third in the state, and I took third at districts. But I had a good that freshman year was fun for me. Like just getting introduced to like high school wrestling, like big level high school, like
Yeah.
not like small division, like getting in there and like really like hitting the national caliber kids. That was like those were sweet. That was sweet. I had Shaver and Agan, those two guys. Yeah, both nationally ranked as seniors my freshman year. My second high school match was against Agan at Ironman.
How'd you hold up?
I beat him the first round at Ironman my freshman year. When he was ranked like 15th in the country.
Yeah.
And then he beat me at Brecksville off a stalling call.
So you get, I mean, but your freshman year, you're right there with him. Like that's crazy. I mean, to beat him as a freshman and then sit there and just lose to a stalling call, like man, you must have really. How'd you do in middle school? Like, did you win states in middle school, or what was?
We're from Michigan originally.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're from not Dundee, but that area, in Michigan, and we always like Marcus and I never really wrestled like the My Way State and stuff in Michigan because it's just after a while, like after you get to a certain age, it's not like OAC. Like not every kid goes. It's not super well like organized. So we didn't really do much of that. But I mean, in 8th grade and like middle school and stuff, I was still like pretty good. We just didn't go to a lot of tournaments because at that point, my dad still didn't like force us to go anywhere. It was
so your freshman year, you moved to Perrysburg?
Yeah. Because Scotty Burnett is like lifelong coach for me and Marcus. We used to go to his house like all summer during like when I was a kid. Like me and Swiderski's would go to his house all summer and just run around, like have fun. Those used to be the times. That was fun.
Man, and the names that you've even like the ones that you competed against, and like even Swiderski, and like just, do you think that played a big part? Like I guess, is that the biggest part of your growth was just having the partners like that? Like, because it sounds like if you don't, like kids can be committed, but if you sit in these little rooms and don't go and put yourself around these high caliber kids that are pushing you to get better, and like you're not just walking in the wrestling room and smacking everybody every day. Like I feel like the Swiderskis and wrestling people like that, do you think that that's what kind of sets you up for success through high school?
For sure. And then another one is like Scotty, my first 2 years of high school, my freshman and sophomore year, he was like still trained, like still got in and like wrestled a lot. And he used to just beat me up every practice, all practice. But like through that, like that's what really makes me like tough and really helps me with like my wrestling is I got my like ass beat pretty much by a 40-year-old guy for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like now, but that's how I got good. It's either you got to put up or you just stop. Like, so for me, I pushed through, or not pushed through, but I just sat and learned and like really became a student of the sport through like meeting some of these people. And I think that's what helps me the most. Just everyone I'm around. That you got to surround yourself with good people.
That's a fact. And out of all of them, like this is somewhere between 25 and 30th interview, and something I've learned from even the Nathan Tomasellos of the world, like guys that are 6-7 years removed from and like college wrestling, to even Bo Bassett, who just finished his freshman year in high school. Like one, they've all said that. Like it's all about the people you put around you, and that's kind of I made that mistake. So it's definitely something that I've learned is very huge. Like coming from blue chip guys like yourselves, and you guys are all good people, and it seems like you had good family that backed you, that helped you, like all everybody. Like I can't say that I feel like there's a way to get to your guys' level when it comes, like just like you said, with having a good upbringing with good people around you, and it kind of just sets you up for success.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just like for me, like there is no like real path or like plan to success. Like you could do the same thing as me and not be successful.
100%.
But I think it's in the like overall theme of it. If you look at like everyone that's really good, they're all around people that are thinking the same or like on the same wavelength. Like you see like crummy people hanging out with other crummy people. You see really good people hanging out with really good people. So I think that's how it just works. Like you just got to put yourself in a situation where you should want to be like the worst guy in the room. Technically, like you should want to have to work to be the best guy. Because once you're the best guy, then everything else should be easy when you go out and compete.
Absolutely, and I like it, man. That's a good way of putting it, bro. I never that's the first time I've heard it put that way, but like definitely a good way of looking at it and viewing it. That's for damn sure. So this past year, you weren't, because of the arm, you weren't able to go to Ironman, right?
Nope.
So did you wrestle it your junior year?
Yeah, I took fifth my junior year there, and then I was gonna wrestle this year, but I tweaked my elbow a couple days before, and because like I was just gonna wrestle the brace and just with the brace on and just do it like just cause, and then I was wrestling and just tweaked my elbow weird and just lost feeling in my fingers for like a couple hours, and I was like, we're just like, yeah, it's not worth it getting hurt, messing
Not
up.
at all. Not at all. And because I was at Ironman, and we definitely was looking forward to definitely seeing you, because that's I mean we're definitely big fans. That's for sure. So I mean it was definitely, but I mean I was like, man, where Blaze got to be here. You know what I mean? Them boys are all over the place. Like but it makes sense, and you've dealt with it kind of throughout your career with little. Well, the elbow wasn't so little, but like with the injury plagued, kind of like heck, it's kind of hit you a little bit almost every year, almost not quite every year, but you've dealt with a lot of.
Yep.
And what I guess if I'm a kid and I'm going through that, like how did you deal with it? Like, because you're wanting to get recruited, you're wanting to go to these big tournaments, these Ironmans, these Super 32s, and all this, and you keep having these little injury bugs come up and get you. Like, how did you deal with that mentally, having to miss certain tournaments and miss certain time, and still whatever you did, it worked, because you don't become the number one kid at 165 but in the country without. So I guess what would you tell somebody if they were dealing with that? Like, what was the best way for you?
Just to find new ways to get better. I think for me, like personally, I am super competitive, so it's like every time I miss a tournament or something, I'm like, damn, I could have been there. Like I could be winning that right now, or like be in the talks. Like I want to be that guy that's getting posted on Flow. But at the same time, it's also good to remember that no matter where you are, like I don't really need to be posted on Flow to be the best. Like I just have to keep doing me and like what's working. And when you're hurt, it's just find new ways to get better. Like I never used to run, and then I started to run all the time. And I never used to lift like a certain way, and now I lift a certain way. Like, you know what I mean? Like trying to find the little like imperfections in your game or like how you in your lifestyle almost, and just trying to make those perfect. I think that's like really what makes my, like, when I get injured, what really helps me, because every time I'm always hurt and I come back, I feel better than I did before I got hurt. Like, I feel better at wrestling without even having to wrestle sometimes.
Man, that's crazy, man. That's your outlook on it was with not a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that would have took that and uh took these injuries, took it and let it bring them down. You know what I mean? Like let it shut them down and just like, man, I just can't stay healthy or this. And somehow, and the fact that you wrestled the way, like, and I would, anybody that watches this, I encourage you to go watch this man's state tournament with an elbow that he wrestled with, and it just unbelievable, like just complete domination. And I don't want it to sound like nothing against the men that you wrestled, like at all. Like you just dominant, just complete dominant. And the Ohio State tournament is no game. Like
Yeah.
there's dogs there, like complete dogs. And there's just it's I've never seen nothing quite like that. Like to where like you stuck out to my uncle. My uncle Clyde's like, yo, are you seeing this? Like this dude is just smoking his way through the tournament. And it was, and there, I guess whenever I sit back and I look and you win this Mark Zimmer Award, in which, if people don't know, in Ohio, that's the High School Wrestler of the Year, and it's voted on by the Ohio High School Wrestling Coaches Association. And it's something, man. Congratulations on that, by the way, because just such an, and you're the first one from the Toledo area since 2019 when it started to win it. So just huge shout out, bro. Huge kudos to you on that, bro. It's definitely no game, especially with all of the monsters that are in wrestling and in Ohio, especially. Like for you to be that guy has to be huge. And not even that, like you come back and you get the Dave Schultz High School Excellence Award for National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Like it, which whenever they do that, from what I understand, that's like how you wrestled, like performance wise, plus your GPA, plus it all goes into it.
Yep.
And it's just something to, man, like how did it feel getting both of those awards? I mean, I'm sure it felt great. I mean, everybody's gonna be like, well, how would you ask me that? Of course it felt good, but at the same time, like to win those is something that not a lot of people can say that they've done, especially both of them. So I mean, walking away from that, like I guess what'd you take away from winning both of those?
I think it's just like it's a good like milestone setter
Yeah.
for me. Like I think it just really shows like I'm doing the right things, like in the room, out of the room, like just as a person, like I'm being a good person and like really putting my best foot forward in all aspects of life. So that's what that kind of mean, like that's what felt good for me. Because the true goal, like end goal, is being a national champ. So it's like for me, everything before that's just a stepping stone. It's just a getting ready for that, like getting ready for that occasion. So for sure, like when I'm a little bit older and I look back on that, I think that'll be like one of the things I'm most proud of. But for right now, it's just kind of like put it in the back of my mind. Like I was happy for a day or two, and now it's get back to where I want to be.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that it's, I guess you're coming into the NCAAs, and after all of these rule changes, which I think there was like at 12 of the 13 passed, but the big one was the 3-point takedown. And I've been asking a lot of the guys heading into college, like, I think it benefits your style of wrestling, in my opinion. I think it's going to do nothing but help you. That's just, but how do you feel about it? Are you going to kind of miss the two? Did you like the moving to the 3-point takedown? What's your outlook on it?
Oh, I like it, honestly. I mean, I think they just want to put more points on a scoreboard so it just looks like, because for me, like my argument is like, well, a 1-point takedown match is just now going to have more points. Like it's not going to have more action. It's just going to have more points.
Yep.
So I just kind of think the NCAA or like whoever, they think that just because there's more points means people are just going to like want to like appreciate it more. But at the same time, I get where they're coming from. The fact of if I do take a lot of risk, I should get a lot of reward. Like if I am always coming at you doing stuff, like I should be able to hit 7-point moves and like stuff like that. So I get it. I understand it. I think it's good. I think it's
I
perfect.
I agree, bro. Because my big thing was like the way that I viewed it was like, all right, Joe, your first match in the NCAA's, you go up and you're taking on whoever, say somebody from Indiana. Well, you're at the Michigan State Open or something, and you get 5 takedowns in the first period and kicking. And so at the end of the first, you're up 5-10, but meanwhile you just smoked this kid with 5 takedowns. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're only up by 5. Like, hell, dude, 1 feet to back move, and like, but you just owned him the whole first period. Like, granted, I'm not. So I just think that you should be up by more than 5 points after owning somebody like that for a period.
So
You
yeah,
know
I
what I mean?
agree. I think that makes it awesome.
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
3-point takedown is perfect. Because that instances like that really like I shouldn't have to get what did it used to be? I think it was like I shouldn't have to get 15 takedowns a tech fall guy.
Exactly. And that's what it was, really,
Mhm.
bro. Like, that's really what it was. And that's a lot. Like, and by the time you get to like 11, you're like, damn.
Yeah, it ain't even worth it anymore.
Yeah, like I'll just take the major. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no,
And
it's
it does
nice.
make it rough. Like, so yeah, I agree, bro. I think but do you be surprised how many people actually like I was listening to Shane Sparks talk about it, like and he just hates it. I mean, just and he's not the only one. There's a lot that are just like I think a lot of people are just set in a way. And honestly, the only thing that bothers me about it is like, say I'm watching you wrestle and like you come down and you guys are wrestling Ohio State or something, and like you take down Patty Gallagher or whatever the case may be, or Sammy Sasso, because they're talking about him going 57, which would be such a sick match, by the way. Like I that would be dope to watch you two get after it. But it it'd be weird to be like 3, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like you know how it's
Mhm.
always 2. So that the outside of that, like love it. I'm glad they didn't pass the whole hey let's not get a riding time point unless you make a turn like that. I don't think at the same time. I think I used it with Dustin Plott. I was talking to him from Oklahoma State, and I told him I said, man, that's like saying riding a bull for 8 seconds ain't enough unless you get off of it and drop kick it. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think that they don't realize how hard it is to hold, like, to get that minute. Like,
For sure.
yeah. And I'm glad that didn't go through. But see, you're good on top too. Like, you really don't have like that much of a weakness in your game. So like, it might have benefited you, hurt you. But like, how would you have felt if they would have passed that?
I think that's a little dumb. I think it should just stay how it is. But I also can understand from the standpoint of that would it also promote a lot more action though in matches. If I had to get a turn to get like my point, I'm gonna work a lot harder for that turn, or I'm just gonna let the guy go and we're gonna get back up on our feet.
100%. And I guess I never, yeah, true. To be honest, now you just kind of put my foot in my mouth because I never viewed it that way to where it's like, hey, I'm either gonna turn you, and it's like, man, if I'm not able to turn this guy, boom, hey, all right, let's go. I'll get these 3-point takedowns all day long. So I
But
guess that is a way of looking.
like that's a point, but also at the same point, like there's guys like I'm like I would say I'm good at riding people, but I'm not great at turning people. So at that point, then that whole skill of being able to hold someone down doesn't mean anything. Like
Right.
I could hold you down for 5 minutes and it not mean anything.
And I think a lot of it was there was a lot of people complaining about uh, Penn State particularly. I always heard that they did this ride like where they would kind of like just kind of hang on you and and it's a beautiful ride to be honest with you. It works, but
Yeah.
like I've heard so many people like but it's a boring ride. It works. It's very effective, but at the end of the day, like there's been a lot of people that's like, hey, like this ain't right. They're stalling more or less. Like they're just killing some clock to get their riding time point. So like I guess I can see like both sides of the spectrum, but at the end of the day, like a Dylan D'Amelio from Ohio State, like I've watched that kid grow to where like at the NCAA's his top game became like he just progressed. And I feel like he's not somebody that's going to turn you, but like he will give you 110% to try to ride and get that minute. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So it's like, man, but you're taking kids like that are really busting their ass to get you're taking it from them.
I agree. I think the other like standpoint is you just got it makes some matches just super boring. Like I don't have a problem with him, but like Jacob Warner, like watching him wrestle is just
Facts. Yeah.
it's just not what I
Ever.
perceive as fun. So
Yeah.
it's just like pushing him out. Like it's a hard, gritty ride. Like he's really putting in effort to ride the guy, but it's
Yeah.
just like not gonna turn the guy usually. Just gonna
Yeah.
ride, hold him down.
And you're gonna win 3-1.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of action. Like you'll get your takedown, and then you'll get your low ride. And I think that's a perfect example of it. Like So 100%, 100%. So what's on the agenda? Like, so we're trying to go our freshman year 157. Is the cut hard? Like, what are you walking around at?
No, I walk around at like 70, 69, around that area. And that's
So you're
like,
sitting good.
yeah, that's like no diet too. Like I'm not eating crazy good right now either. So I think I'll be good.
Man, you got to be, because what is I guess what's like, I know Ohio State starts off with the Michigan State Open, I believe, or one of the, does Purdue do the same, or is it more or less like, do they start off with a couple little open tournaments and then they jump in, or what would
We go
be?
to the Clarion Open, I'm pretty sure. I think that's where we start out at. I'm not sure. We haven't dropped our schedule yet. We just dropped like our dual meet for the Big Ten, but we haven't dropped like our official schedule.
I know, and I'm ready for it, because to be honest with you, especially if because Clarion ain't far away, and I'll be honest, bro, like I'm excited to see, especially as a true freshman, like you have that talent. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of people that come out like Jesse Mendez's and all these guys like that. You guys are few and far between, but I do feel that Purdue is going to have a monster at 157 as a true freshman that can legit compete for, when you look at 157, like Joey Blaze can win 157 for real.
Sure. That's what that's the goal. And I think I just really like dedicating myself to doing it this year will it's just gonna help a lot. I think that like the small, like the being the young guy mentality, I think that's really gonna help. And I'm hungry. I mean, I'm definitely a lot more hungry than some of the guys, just because I mean they might have been here a while, but I know how it is, like high school and everything, man. You get tired. You get tired of doing all the work. And when there's a young guy sitting there, like a new dog,
Ready.
sitting there ready to go, it's kind of hard. It's hard to hold them off. You can only
absolutely
hold them off for so long. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how you hold up against like Levi Haynes. You know what I mean? Like who was a freshman in the finals this past year, and I'm definitely excited, because there's some killers at 157, and you're one of them, and I'm definitely excited to see how you roll with this, because you're gonna have to deal with this man for the next 3 years, and Levi's something special. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
But so were you. So it's definitely. And we've seen what he did, so there's no reason to not think that you could be right there on that podium, right beside him, up above. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
lot of work, a lot of dedication. But you've been doing that for the last 5-6 years, brother. So I mean, I think the sky's the limit.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to be the best me. You know what I mean? I'm just doing putting as much work in as I can. Trying to be the best that I can, just because. You got one. I got one goal, and if I can achieve that goal, I think I'll feel like I'll be pretty happy. Just with how life went, if I can achieve some of these goals that I want to do.
Yes, sir. Now, when it comes to all right, so next year you got the Olympics. So are we thinking, hey, let's maybe take a red shirt for the second season and go freestyle, try to make the Olympics? Or is it more or less like, hey, let's just focus on our folk style career, focus on getting this national championship, and we'll worry about that after college?
I think it just depends. I probably stay another year or do another year, just college, and then maybe just go to like the opens and stuff like afterwards. Because that's a lot. I mean, it's also far forward. It's a whole nother year, but I don't
For
know.
sure.
I don't have too big of like aspiration. Wrestling freestyle is fun. Like I love doing it, but I have more aspirations to try to get into MMA after college. So I want to kind of go that route. So I wouldn't be opposed, but at the same time, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, 100%. I can respect it, and I to be honest, like most people, like so you're more of a you prefer folk style. Like, all right, somebody's like, hey, you can go to Fargo or wrestle at your state tournament. Like, granted, like two different type of deals, but I'm just naming like or Iron Man and Fargo. Which one are you going to?
Probably the folk style tournament. I think I just like the ability to be able to roll around in folk style, like how you can go across your back. I mean, freestyle is fun for me. I think personally I might be even a little bit better at freestyle than I am folk style, just because I'm not as wild. I'm more in my stance, like keeping good position, like. But I don't know. I like both of them, but I'd say folk style probably. That'd probably trump freestyle.
That you're one of a few, but I dig that because I love folk style. I'm a folk style. I've never wrestled a freestyle match a day in my life. But I mean, it just was never really introduced to me. I wish it was. Don't get me wrong, but it just not what we did. We were folk style year round, and that's just what it was. So love it. Learned to love it. Grew to like love watching it. Now love everything about it. But at the end of the day, like I love my NCAA wrestling and high school wrestling, man. I love my folk style. Like it's and to each their own on their opinion, but like I don't think anything's better than the NCAA tournament. I mean, dude, for those 3 days, I think it is the great. Like my wife is like, I know, like there ain't shit getting done around the house. There ain't nothing getting done. Like I am locked in for 3 days. You know what I mean?
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's definitely the one of my favorite 3 days of the year, man, and favorite thing. And I can't wait to see you at it and see how you grind through this Big Ten because man, you're jumping deep, bro. You're right into the Big Ten, and I mean, you've been around the sport to know that like there is no day. I mean, you might if you guys get Penn State and then Ohio State, say Sasso moves up, like you might have Levi Haynes, Sammy Sasso, or even Patty Gallagher, or I mean, just some of the names at 157 that your duels would be against. Like, it just that's
It'll
you're
be crazy.
definitely you're gonna get tested quick. You like and but you're built for this, bro. You are like you don't. I'm excited to see. I'm excited for it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I think that's like kind of what makes me happy. Like it kind of draws me in though, because if you don't get matches against those guys before, because it all really doesn't matter realistically till March. So I feel like getting those matches with those guys early and getting them in,
Getting
definitely,
that feel.
yeah, definitely going to help for towards the end of the year.
Yeah, this is a good way of looking at it too, because like you get that feel for him, then you know what you're kind of all right. Hey, he's a little sticky here, he's stingy here. Like now I know, like, hey, he you know he how he is on top, what he's looking to do, like first move, like so. Yeah, definitely a way to go about it, and just view it even if it's taking that L in January, but then being able to get it back in March is the one
Yeah,
that
that's
matters.
all that
So.
matters.
Yeah. That definitely, big man. I can definitely appreciate it. But I mean, I want to honestly, bro, just thank you for taking this time and uh just spending 45 minutes with me talking some wrestling, letting everybody know where you're heading and how things are going down there. So I definitely appreciate you taking this time,
No
man.
problem. Thank you for having me, dude. This was a blast. I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
love doing these things. It's super fun.
yeah, I definitely, and it is. It's been, and that's what everybody was like. I mean, because like I said, it's just getting started, man. Like it's got a long way, but everybody's like, man, but it's like I legitly just had this was the best 45 minutes like of my day. Like I enjoyed being able to get to know you a little bit and see where your mindset is and let other people see like because we get to watch you guys on the mat all day long like so but we really don't know like who is Joey who is Bo who is whatever the case may be
For
So
sure.
it's nice to be able to sit down and just be like, hey, and man, it seems like your dad Joe and your mom or anybody that's played a factor into helping you has done a hell of a job, man. Because you handle yourself very well, you speak very well, and it's definitely if I could have my son look up to somebody, man, I'd hope it'd be somebody like you because
Thank you.
yeah, it's awesome, man. With the way that you're going about it and the way you view things, it's awesome, brother. So keep doing that, keep doing your thing, and we'll definitely stay in touch and let's go get some NCAA titles.
For sure. For sure. Thank you. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too, Joey. Thanks, brother.
No problem. See ya.
All right, bro. Joey Blaze, three-time Ohio State champ, Super 32 champ. I mean, this kid's done amazing things. I mean, he literally went 44 and 0 as a senior. I mean, just a killer. I mean, all the way around. He has Perrysburg's record of all-time wins, which I believe 184 wins. Like this kid, I don't know how. I hate to see him leave Ohio, but he's wrestling in the Big Ten. Purdue's building an awesome program, but it's obviously as a Buckeye fan, and I would love to see him there. But at the end of the day, like you can't help but to root for the dude. Like he speaks very well, and his mindset is phenomenal, and I I really enjoyed every minute of it, man. I do, and I hope he's nothing but the best, especially to go as a true freshman. And I think he's good enough to. I really do. Like I truly think that this kid, as a true freshman, can run and be and compete. Like I've seen him live, I've seen what he can do, and the man wasn't even 100% when I saw him. So to think of him 100% stepping in, and I'm excited to see him against some of these big name guys at 157 and just going through the grind of a Big Ten schedule. And I'm telling you, he's built for it. He really he we're gonna find out. But definitely appreciate y'all joining us as always, man. Like, subscribe, hit it, follow. Sage Wrestling, check us out, man. We appreciate y'all.